Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Thanks for joining me for Try It Out Tuesday. Today we're going to play with watercolors, and I have the perfect stamp set for that. This here is from Stampendous, and it is a beautiful mum here. It's called the Clean Garden Mum. It's a rubber stamp, and it stamps beautifully, and it's perfect size, and it comes with a stencil too, which is really neat. It's a real pretty damask. We're not going to use the stencil today, just the mum and the sentiments. So we're going to jump in and do a little stamping with Versamark ink. I brought in my Misty. This is a pretty large image, and you can see how pretty it is. It's going to be a very simple card today because the image is so big, and you don't really have to do much when you have a large image like this. But I thought we would do a little bit of watercoloring with my Distress Mini ink cubes. So I'm stamping my image, and I'm stamping it on some Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock. If you wanted to use watercolor cardstock, you very well could, but I really like the way Bristol Smooth blends. So when you do watercoloring, you want to make sure that you don't oversaturate your cardstock. My paper does warp a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. But I went ahead and added white embossing powder over my Versamark, and then I heat set it so we have a little bit of shine to it, and it'll contain my watercolor. I'm bringing in my craft mat, and we're going to use 3 mini ink cubes. Now I'm going to get questions on how I store my ink cubes, but this little container is from Dairies. I can't link it because I got it at Walmart and I can't find it online, but it's in the beading section over at Walmart, and it holds my mini ink cubes perfectly. I have like 4 or 5 of them, and it was pretty inexpensive, so that's where I got that little container. The 3 colors that I'm using for my flower is Seedless Preserves, Shaded Lilac, and then Bundled Sage is what I'll use for my leaves. Starting off with my Shaded Lilac. It's the lightest ink, and I'm just filling in my leaves. It's a little hard to tell because of the white background, but once I get all those leaves colored in, you'll be able to see it a little bit more. But while I finish up, I'm going to play a little bit of music, and then when I'm done watercoloring, I will get you back. Okay, all finished up here, and I think it turned out so pretty and so easy. With watercolor, you really can't go wrong. Just love the purples that I used today. Okay, that's going to be set aside so we can let that dry a little bit, and then we're going to work on our sentiment. I'm going to put the sentiment on kind of backwards because either way, it doesn't matter how you put the sentiment. There's 2 in the stamp set. There's one that says, "With friends like you," and then there's another one that says, "Life's garden is beautiful." So it could be either or. It could it could say, with friends like you, life's garden is beautiful. Or it could say, life's garden is beautiful with friends like you. So you can flip-flop them. So I'm using a piece of gold cardstock. I treated it with my anti-static powder tool. And then I'm using my VersaFine ink, and we're going to stamp our sentiment. It has the potential to slide on that gold cardstock, but the embossing buddy kind of helps it out a little bit. But I added white embossing powder over it, and you know what, when I melted this, it kind of looked like it was engraved. It turned out so pretty. In fact, after I did this, I ended up doing the inside sentiment the same exact way. So the sentiment that says life's garden is beautiful, I did the same way that I'm doing right now. Okay, thought we add a little extra sparkle by using some washi tape. I have some gold washi tape sparkle. I don't know where I got it, guys, but if you don't have washi tape that has gold sparkle to it, you could use a very thin strip of glitter cardstock, gold glitter, or you can add a thin strip of Stickles or Nuvo glitter drops on the very bottom. I think it would give the same effect. It would just take a little longer to dry. But I added a thin strip of that washi tape. I trimmed off the excess. I want to even out my sentiment here. And then that one is ready to go. I'm still amazed at how it looks like it's engraved. It's super neat. Okay, I also cut down a thin strip of black cardstock into a 1/4 inch strip, and then I have a 3/4 inch strip of vellum. I wanted to add a little bit of purple to my vellum, so I'm using my Seedless Preserves Distress ink. And just with my blending tool, I'm adding my shading to it. This is a great way to tint your vellum, is by using your little distress inks. Okay, so that's ready to go. So I have the black and then my little purple vellum strip. I'm going to bring back in my floral panel here, and then I'm going to die cut out a panel that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 with my double stitched rectangle dies. It's going to leave me a little bit of a border on my card base. Okay, once this is ready to go, I'm going to angle off my vellum just using my scissors, and we're actually going to have the shorter end on the left here. And then I'm going to use my tape runner and adhere my black strip of cardstock to my vellum. The excess that's overhanging on the top, I just wrapped around the top of my panel there. Since I did watercolor and my paper is a little bit warped, I like to use my fun foam. The fun foam that I use, I get at Walmart also, and it's the adhesive backed fun foam. This way I only have to add adhesive tape to one side, which I did here. You can see. I'm just going to remove the release paper off of this, and then we'll place our panel on an A2 size card base. It's going to be a top folding card base. Okay, next all we have to do is add our sentiment. I am going to pop those up, the sentiment up with my foam squares, and then that's going to go towards the bottom of our vellum strip there. I think that looks fabulous. Okay, we're going to take the inside sentiment, and again, I created it the same way as I did the front. Life's garden is beautiful. I even added that gold washi tape to it. We're going to place that in the center on the inside of our card, and then we're going to bring in some gold stickles for the center of our flower. I thought we'd bring in a little bit of that sparkle up into the flower, just dotting it with that gold. And then we're also going to bring in some Nuvo shimmer pen over the petals on our mum. And then that finishes off my card today. I think it was super pretty. Nice little friendship card. I love creating these because these are probably my next most handed out cards, is friendship cards and birthday cards. But I did leave the cleanup in today, guys. It's after the close-up pictures here. But I always thank you for joining me. I wish you a lovely rest of the week. Have a fabulous day. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.